I finally watched the new Nosferatu movie. And I really wanted to compare the new movie to the old one. Because the old one was such a masterpiece that I just really hope that they didn't fuck it up with the new one. So let's first talk a little bit about the background of this movie. Why is it so significant?
Nosferatu.
Well, Nosferatu, eine Symphonie des Grauens, translated to A Symphony of Horror, is a German silent movie released in 1922. And it is the very first adaptation of the famous novel Dracula. Fun fact, it is believed that Dracula from the book is based on Vlad Dracula, or more well known as Vlad the Impaler. I thought that was just a little bit of cool information there. But if Nosferatu is based on Dracula, why is it called Nosferatu? Well, there are two reasons. One, Dracula was the name of the count in the book Dracula, and not the name of the creature itself. So the creature itself is called a Nosferatu. This is derived from the Romanian words Nosuferitul? I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Which is translated to the offensive one, or the insufferable one. Which means that Nosferatu is basically Karen. It's Karen. And the second reason is that this movie was actually not authorized. They did not have permission from the writer of Dracula to make this movie. They just tried to slip past this copyright infringement by changing the name from Count Dracula to Count Orlok and placing the movie in Germany instead of England, and all kinds of other small changes. Well, this did not work. Stoker's widow actually sued them and won, which caused most of the copies to be destroyed. But luckily a few survived, and we're so lucky that we still get to watch this movie on YouTube, for instance. It's a part of culture that we're still able to see after 100 years. Amazing, I love it. It is now also seen as one of the most influential movies in the horror genre. You know the fact about vampires dying in sunlight? Nosferatu? Yes, that's from that movie. So there are lots of songs, music videos, movies, series that reference Nosferatu. And if you're like me, then the very first time Nosferatu started haunting your dreams was because of that one SpongeBob episode, where he was flickering the fucking lights.
Wait, if that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
Even SpongeBob references Nosferatu. Fucking love SpongeBob, man. But if you haven't heard of the movie yet, or have not seen it yet, start now. Because I'm going to explain this plot. Because I'm going to explain this. Because I'm going to explain this plot. This plot. Why do I keep saying splot? Because I'm going to explain the plot now, and it's gonna have lots of spoilers. So watch it first.
Nosferatu!
The movie starts with Thomas Hutter. Although recently married and eager to spend the rest of his life with his beautiful wife Ellen, he is sent on a very special job by his real estate agent boss. He is to visit a count from far away in the hopes of selling him a very expensive house, which is the one across from his own. His wife really doesn't want him to go, but he goes anyway. I mean, it's the 1830s. She doesn't have rights. He doesn't have to listen to her. He's gonna wish he did though. So he goes on his journey with a ball sack. Have you ever seen a bag like this? It's a ball sack. It's a ball sack.
It's a ball sack.
During his visit, he goes to a tavern and he wants something to eat and something to drink. But then he tells the locals that he's going to visit Count Orlok, and they all get very scared and tell him not to go. Because they know he's a vampire, but he doesn't. So they tell him to stay, and during his stay, he finds this little booklet. And during his stay, he finds this little book. And this book describes vampires. And thus, he reads about Nosferatu. But he's not alarmed by this. On the contrary, he's not afraid. I threw it to the ground. So he continues his journey, full of confidence, ball sack in hand. But as soon as he arrives at Count Orlok's castle, he regrets his decision immediately. Should have listened to your wife. During his stay, Count Orlok sees a picture of Thomas's wife and is immediately smitten. Look at it. Look at that hottie. Oh, look at her. Look at that hottie. Look at that hottie. And he even comments that she has a lovely neck. And I actually called this in the movie. I actually called it. I knew we was gonna say that. Wow. He sees juicy little neck. I was so right. Now, infatuated with Thomas's wife, he sees no reason not to buy the house across from where Thomas's wife lives, and immediately signs the deed to the house. At the same time all of this happens, Ellen, Thomas's wife, keeps sleepwalking very weirdly. Is this how this is not how normal people move? I mean, that's the thing. I know she has to be like hysterical or something, but still, it looks kind of weird. So now Thomas begins to suspect that Orlok is a vampire. He even finds him sleeping in his coffin and gets fucking scared and hides in his room because he's so fucking scared. And eventually he sees Orlok packing all his dirt because he needs dirt from his burial grounds to sleep or something like that, and leaving. So he also quickly wants to leave to go save his wife from her terrible fate. But from all the sucking that Orlok has done on him, like all the blood sucking, he's very weak and he falls from the window and ends up at a hospital where he will stay for, I think, a few days. The journey will be long. He stays a long time. He stays a long time in the hospital and is not able to get to his wife. Count Orlok is now moving into his new house. And as soon as he's done this, people just start fucking dying. And the town suspects that it's the plague that's come across with the boat that Count Orlok came on, because there are also a lot of rats. He also carries rats constantly. So people just start dying one by one. Orlok is a very hungry motherfucker. He's like sucking everyone dry. Fat ass bitch. But he doesn't eat Thomas's wife yet. Not really sure why. So eventually Thomas arrives back home and he brought that little book. And Ellen finds this and starts reading it. And there she sees that she actually has to sacrifice herself to kill the Nosferatu, to lift the curse. So she knows what to do. She's gonna sacrifice herself. So she invites Orlok into her home and sends Thomas away. And due to her being irresistible to Orlok, he overstays and is met with the sunrise. With the sunrise killing him. But sadly enough, he also killed her. And that's the movie. But that's the plot from the first one. The new movie is not that different. However, there are still some differences, which we will be talking about right now.
Nosferatu!
In the old movie, Orlok is smitten by a picture of Ellen, which causes him to want to eat her, you know? But the new movie takes a different approach. So the new movie introduces that Ellen actually made a promise to Count Orlok when she was younger because she felt lonely. She promised that they would be together forever. However, later in life she finds Thomas and falls head over heels in love. But as soon as they get married, Count Orlok gets mad and returns to get what is rightfully his. His words, not mine. Another large difference is the character Professor Albin, played by Willem Dafoe in the new movie. Love Willem Dafoe. In the new movie, this is a character who discovers that Orlok is a Nosferatu and knows what to do and tells Ellen that she has to sacrifice herself to break the curse. So they completely skip the book. So in the first movie, they know by book. In the new movie, it's this professor who went a little crazy. Another tweak with Orlok is that he bites victims in the chest. Whereas in the original, Orlok bites them in the neck. This does not seem like a big deal now, but I will get back to it later. In both movies, Ellen has to get rid of Thomas before inviting Orlok into her home, because she doesn't want Thomas to die. In the old movie, she's like, "Oh, I'm sick, go get the doctor, please." And he goes to do that. In the new movie, he is sent on a vampire hunt. And I think this is quite cool, as this ending of the new movie is more of a resemblance with the book Dracula. In the book Dracula, they also go on a vampire hunt in the end with Van Helsing. So I thought that was a cool new difference that they put in there. And something very important to talk about is the new look of Nosferatu. So in the old one, he's this really bold, weird, stressed out, red kind of person with his little red teeth there, his little red teeth. In the new movie, he looks a little different. So first thing, he's not bald anymore. He has a mustache. Not feeling the mustache, by the way. So at first I thought it was done to make him resemble Vlad the Impaler more, which I thought was a cool little tweak. But when I started reading about it, it appears that it was just to make him resemble more of a Romanian nobleman. And then the tweak we were all waiting for. The new movie is much more sexually orientated. Or is it? I think they are both very sexually themed, but just tailored to the time they were released in. For example, the way Orlok is smitten by the beautiful Ellen in the first movie seems very sexual to me. And also, I know this scene is him grabbing her heart or something, but it looks like a booby grab. It looks like a booby grab. So there are more little tweaks here and there, which I do not really feel like they're necessary to put in this video. But there's also a lot the same, which is great. So they kept in a lot of the same dialogue, which I think is cool. Although it's not that hard because the first movie has like 20 words in total. So they better put that in there, you know, in a new movie. Let's now talk about what I liked and disliked.
Nosferatu!
So the first difference, Orlok having a different connection with Ellen. I liked this tweak. In the first movie, he just sees the picture and gets smitten by it. But I mean, come on man, that bitch is not that hot. So I liked that they had like a pact, that was done, and that's why he's like killing the whole village and moving all the way there. I think it brings more realism to his drive to get there. I don't know if I liked the new character, Professor Albin. I do like Willem Dafoe, so I don't mind him being in a movie, and I like the character. But I do like it more that they read it in this booklet, because Count Orlok is like moving away from Romania because everyone in Romania around him already knows that he's a vampire and already knows what to do not to let him get in home. So he moves to somewhere new where no one knows what a vampire is. And then there's this one guy who is crazy, but then as soon as this guy's like, hey, we know each other, then suddenly he's not crazy anymore for the rest of the movie. So it's weird. I don't like that. I don't like it. And now, I said I would get back to it, the biting in the chest instead of the neck. This was pretty cool. This was apparently inspired by folklore. In folklore, the vampires always used to bite in the chest. I like folklore, so I like that they put that in there. And also, as a quote from Egger, for a story that is a gothic romance, a tale of obsession and love, there is something poetical about the motive of drinking from the heart. And I think that's right. It's more teen. The difference of the looks in Nosferatu. Do I like it? I think so, yes. Although I do like Nosferatu's look in the 1922 movie, I feel it's a little outdated right now. So if they would recreate that the same way in the new movie, I think it would not fit. So I liked that they took a different approach. I would have loved to if he looked like Vlad the Impaler. I mean, that would be pretty cool. But okay, overall, good decision. The sex stuff, good decision. I always like weird sex stuff in movies, so that's great. Just 10 out of 10. What I also like about the new movie is Knock. It's called Knock, right? Because he's German, not English knock, so Knock. Knock in the first movie is just this weird guy. He's already weird from the beginning and he just turns weirder. How can this fucking guy be like a real estate boss? Like, how can he own a real estate company? Look at this fucking face. And in the new movie, they make him seem quite normal. He says a few weird things, but then he just slowly descends into madness because of his pact with Count Orlok. So that's a good decision too. That's my likes. And with the new movie, not the differences, but just overall the movie, I really like it cinematically. Is that a word? I don't know, I'm using it. Especially the first half. Later on, it dies down a little bit, but it had the same gothic and surrealistic vibe that the first movie is also going for. I'm, for example, talking about the scene where he gets picked up by the carriage of Orlok. It gives you this eerie feel, like it's something supernatural, but you're like drawn to it, as a vampire should be. You see him like drifting into the carriage. So, yes. I liked the new Nosferatu movie. Thumbs up. So now about the older one, 1922, great movie. I think the real estate agent is really funny in the first one. It's just this weird guy. In both movies, he starts getting a bloodlust and starts saying blood is life, and he starts like eating living things. But in the new movie, it's like, oh, he bites off the head of a bird and it squirts blood. Wow, it's gory and disgusting, and he bites the neck of some guy. But in the old movie, it's just him eating bugs. Like, you see him like grabbing bugs out of the air. Bloodlust. Like, he's so crazy, he's eating bugs. That's like, oh my god, that's so, ooh, he's such a bloodlust. I think that's funny. Yes. But because I like the differences that the new movie made, does not mean that I don't like the way they do it in the old movie. It's just that I think they did a good job of making the same movie but making it their own. They still captured that cool image of Nosferatu, although I will still remember Nosferatu as that weird red guy in the doorway instead of Mustache Man. But hey, that's my thing. Maybe you will remember him as Mustache Man. So this was it. I told you a little bit about background, I told you a little bit about the differences, and I told you a little bit about my opinion on the differences. This is just my opinion, it's not the truth. Don't go start being mad at me. But you can also always start a discussion in the comments if you would like. I love talking about movies and themes of movies and all that kind of stuff. And that's about it, I think. Bye.